Have you ever wondered why modern World of Warcraft is not as fulfilling as it used to be? Then you are in the right place, my friend, because I'm about to tell you the 6 things World of Warcraft should change to be great again. So, without further ado, let's get started. Number 1. Too many abilities. Retail WoW's classes have a lot of abilities that do nothing. In the past, you got your core abilities and 1 or 2 bursts. When you used your core abilities without burst, they tended to work just fine. Enemy life went down, and we were happy about it. Then, from time to time, you pressed that juicy burst button, and we were even happier about it. Not by much though, because your burst ability was a regular 30% damage increase or something like that. Nothing crazy. Now, your damage is trash all the time if you don't press that burst button. And not just that, you have to trigger certain buffs or debuffs with your trashy core abilities before using your burst ability. Otherwise, your damage will still suck. This creates an entry filter for new players, because it's too complex and requires a lot of their time to learn and polish those new abilities. Meanwhile, games like League of Legends have like 4 or 6 buttons to press, making it easier and more engaging for new players. By the way, I was leveling the other day with a dwarf hunter in Dunbarrow. Everything was decently fine, and then this happened. What was that? 7 new abilities slapped on my face just like that? I haven't played Hunter since Wrath of the Lich King, I think. I went from 5 abilities to 12 in just one single level. That was overwhelming. And you have to bear in mind that I have played this game since Warcraft 3. I'm not a new player who just started to try this new MMO and is barely keeping up to the learning curve. I can't imagine how many new players have quit the game after something like that. Blizzard, fix that please. Number 2. In Vanilla WoW, you had to be very careful about fighting mobs in the world. Everything was fine as long as you were fighting just one single mob. If you got a little bit unlucky, then you found yourself fighting against 2 mobs. A challenging situation indeed. But you could still make it if you were careful about not showing your back, and maybe using a potion or bandages. But if you were one of those guys who rolled a d20 and most of the times got a natural one, you probably found yourself pulling 3 mobs, or even more. That was enough reason to run away for your life, because you knew things were about to get bad. Very bad. Now, in Retail WoW, you are kind of an immortal entity who came down from the heavens to obliterate those inferior creatures from a world called Azeroth. Your life never goes down even if you aggro tens of mobs that are supposed to be a threat in this world. It's boring and repetitive. You only fear for your life when you encounter a world boss or fight against raid or dungeon bosses. This is one of the worst implementations Blizzard has added to the game, not just because of the boring part, but because it destroys the importance and uniqueness of gearing up your character. It doesn't matter if you are using greys or blues or purples, you still are a god in a world that's supposed to be a threat to you. Number 3. Gear matters. Right now, gearing is kinda lame in Retail WoW. In Vanilla WoW, gearing was a serious deal. It's still essential in Retail WoW, of course, but it's not as fulfilling and epic as it used to be. Before, the norm was to get great or white items as a regular reward for questing and looting mobs, and it was good. You could actually feel the improvement in your damage after gearing up with those new items. It was a serotonin stimulator. You felt rewarded for doing all those quests and killing all those mobs. And whenever you got a green or a blue, man, it was amazing. You felt that your character was getting stronger and stronger. But when you got a purple, it was something super serious. If you got a purple, that meant it was a special day.
It had to be celebrated. You had to tell somebody about it because it would have been a sin if you didn't brag with someone about your new acquisition. They gotta be jealous about you, man. Now, in retail WoW, gearing is not as fulfilling as it used to be. The new lowest gear are greens, and greys and whites are considered heirlooms from the past. Everyone is always getting greens from questing and even some blues. And if you get into a raid or a dungeon, getting a purple is a regular thing. Nothing to be surprised about. You only get surprised just if you get some new broken or meta item. But most of the purples will likely end up as disenchanted material or sold to an NPC for some gold. This destroys the fun part about getting gear. It was better when rare items were actually rare and epic items were actually epic. And that is not the worst part. The worst part is that even if I get a rare or epic item, my character will still feel like there was no progress at all. Enemy mobs are still slow to kill and my numbers don't go up by much. And by the way, I'm still an immortal god who does the same damage.
Number 4. Mob scaling.
Man, I hate this one a lot.
Mob scaling is a system where enemy levels dynamically adjust to match the player's level. Basically, it doesn't matter how much you level up. Mobs will always be strong against you, and strong equals more health and having the same level as you. In my opinion, this is the worst implementation. It didn't just kill the sensation of progress that used to be in the game, but also cripple a lot of my abilities. They don't do damage at all. Before this crap, you used to go to a new zone, you go and kill some mobs. They probably overlevel you, of course. You get killed, you grind more, you now know you can kill them, and then you surpass them. And you feel stronger because those enemies who once were a pain in the axe now are an easy kill. But you get happy about it because you earn it. Now your abilities are trash, and if you ever get to feel that your abilities are doing some damage, it's probably because you're about to level up, and this scaling trash will increase the health of all enemy mobs. So instead of getting stronger and getting rewarded for leveling up, I'm getting punished for leveling up. I used to like the leveling up sound. Now I'm scared of it. Just get rid of this one, please. We don't want this PvE balance thing. Number 5. Balance. Talking about balance, this is a sensitive but important topic. Stop trying to make all classes do the same amount of damage, the same amount of healing, nerfing things that are supposed to be strong and strengthening others that are supposed to be weak. We get it. You want to create a game with justice, ready for competitive tournaments. But first, this is an MMORPG, and second, this is fantasy. People will compete over anything if they want to compete. Give them a world arena, give them rating and all of that. That's okay, but don't destroy classes with the intention of not offending people because their class is not strong enough. For example, look at Death Knights. They are literally undead muscular and holy warriors who attack you with a big ass sword. And if that is not enough, they know how to use magic. Death magic. They can freeze you and shatter you in pieces. They can infect you with COVID and then explode those COVID cells to end your life. Or they can bleed you out until you're dead. Are you really telling me that a regular warrior can fight against that? Or a shaman or something like that? Like, what are you talking about? Look at this guy. Or this one. Are you for real? I'm not saying that one class must be stronger than other classes. What I'm saying is that instead of giving the same burst to every class, be creative and strengthen each class by following the lore relevant to that class. At the end of the day, you feel stronger because other people are weaker. That's how it has always worked.
And the final and most important one. If Blizzard fixes this, they will go back to the golden era. I guarantee it. Are you ready to listen to it? Okay, the last and most crucial thing Blizzard Entertainment should do to make World of Warcraft great again is stop nerfing Type A and Type B characters. I mean, seriously, this is a world full of war and combat. Almost every character in Azeroth knows how to fight or had to fight for their life. This world should be filled with beefed up dudes with massive biceps and badass hot chicks with giant glutes, both female and male. Just like a bald dude once said, World of Warcraft used to be about big hairy sweaty men beating up other big hairy sweaty men with Victoria's Secret model elves in chainmail bikinis. It's not a new thing that people like good looking people with nice physiques. I mean, what is that? This is supposed to be the creation of a huge evil dragon with the power to destroy Azeroth, an ancient race of dragonkin that are supposed to be the ideal soldier. Really? This is an ideal soldier. Or this. Not this. Or that. Let's be honest, this dude would wipe the floor with this other ideal soldier. I mean, please, let's be a little more realistic here. I get it. It's tough to do so after doing some bad things. Very bad things indeed. But changing things like this in the game won't solve that issue. But hey, at the end of the day, we all have our tastes and preferences. If you like retail WoW as it is, it's okay. We all love the same game and would love to see it being successful again, like the good old days. Maybe one day, or maybe not. Who knows? I hope it does.
This is an ideal soldier. Look at the difference. That's what I'm talking about.